So you want to be a PT, a no bullshit approach. If you've been following us for some time, you'll probably gather that that is the way we kind of roll. We try and cut to the chase. We try um, not to put a hat on things, to be as real as we can. We feel that that's our responsibility, especially in the industry as it is, full of noise, full of nonsense. Um, it's not the easiest place to navigate. We know that. And so what we've tried to do is try to create um, a space on social media and around that then with what we offer as far as courses and support are concerned that can be trusted and that are known for keeping things real. We will always do that. So just a little bit about me. You don't need to know too much. I've been in the industry for over 15 years, coached all the way through, had my own personal business, ran a gym business which grew to three gyms, um, then changed into a high level individualized business, and then started getting into the education scene and helping younger coaches sort of develop and grow as I continued on through my career. So that's a very brief overview of me. So the reason I say that is because I'm not I'm not an educator that's come from outside of our industry that's just teaching this thing. I have skin in the game. I care for it a lot. And us doing this thing, the PFCA, is our way right now of trying to help you folks and those slightly ahead of you who are starting out in a career in fitness. Um, we feel that that's more needed than ever today. When we grew up, we were lucky that a career in fitness was a little more simple. It was more straightforward and laid out. We had great mentors ahead of us that were all great coaches first and foremost, and so they guided us. Today, that's few and far between. So there are lower than ever coaches get into year one, lower than ever coaches get into year five, and lower than ever coaches get into year 10. So for you folks sort of looking up to find an example of those that have done it, they're few and far between, unfortunately. So with that in mind, we're doing our bit. So this is a no bullshit approach. I'll just pause that for a second, just intro it very quickly. Rather than me waffle on too much as far as an introduction is concerned, we've created this video. You'll find it on our website. It kind of sets the scene. So I'm just going to play this. You can listen, and then we can get into the rest of the call. So here we go. Okay, that's our battle cry, if you like. So within that is our mission, to elevate the status, respect, and long-term career for the fitness coach, because all of that is no longer, unfortunately. We don't have status, we don't have respect, and there isn't a long-term career. You have to find that yourself, and so that's why we're doing what we're doing. Our mission is to create that for you, because we believe that the coach shouldn't have to do that. Because in doing so, in trying to do this thing, you get distracted from doing your job. And that's why we see many coaches today sort of striving for status, striving for respect, striving for admiration online, and forgetting that the reality is the coach should be judged on the job that they're doing with their clients, the client outcome. So that's our aim. I think I've laid this out. Let's cut the bullshit. What we don't want to do today is flower up or try and sell a career in fitness. So I don't want to just give you, I don't just want to paint it as an easy win, an easy career, an easy way to make money. What I want to do is be real. I want to tell you exactly what's involved. There are pros and cons. It is hard, it is challenging, but it is super rewarding. It's a fantastic career. It's a fantastic life. There's a lot of fulfillment if it's right for you. And so that's why I want to be real with this thing tonight, so that you can make your own choice as to whether or not it still is for you. Okay. Through our education, the big key is that we teach you how to think, not what to think. So, of course, as you start your process, if you were to start with us, we give you a lot of what you need to know. So we give you more answers, really. We give you more truths, because you don't know. So, we need to give you those to get started. But the gist of the whole thing is that we don't want you to just take these things as read. And in fact, as you continue along your career, that's how we want you to look at the whole thing. We want to be thinking about how we think about these things and not have these absolute answers, because that's what the industry is stuck on at the moment. It's stuck on absolutes. It's stuck on trying to find an answer that covers all bases. And that's not coaching. That's not fitness. That's not how we deal with human beings. We know that we're all different. We're all unique. And so the coach needs to be armed with the ability to work with those unique elements of each individual that they work with to get the best out of the thing for them. Okay. You do that then through a set of principles, and that's the how to think. So we give you a system which enables you to organize your thoughts rather than giving you exact answers. We feel that would be remiss of us to do that. And as we mentioned in the video, what we want to do is give you almost like a playbook within which then you can layer over your style, your individuality, your way of coaching, and your way of doing things. And that is really what makes a PFCA coach. It's not a robot. It's not somebody that parrots everything that we say. It's somebody that challenges what we say. It's somebody that challenges all of the things in fitness, has critical thought, considers each element of each session, with each client. That's what makes a PFCA coach. So it's not somebody that just continues to deliver the same old stuff, which is what many coaches do. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. I've seen in my gyms where we used to have PTs working. They'd come in and they'd deliver the same session from 7 o'clock in the morning through to 4 p.m. And they would have 7 clients through that time, and they would have done the same session with each client. That's not a PFCA coach. In fact, that's not a coach. But that is prevalent in the industry today. And we're trying to change the way that whole thought process works for the coach. So, to you, why are you here? So, just take a couple of minutes in the chat box. Just a sec. Take a second just to explain briefly why you're here, what you're looking to get out of this evening. 2 minutes, don't press send until I say, so that They're not borrowed off each other, and they're all your own. So I'll stick a timer on, and I'll give you a shout when to press send. So off you go. 2 minutes. Okay. If you're ready, start firing them in. And to find out if it's possible for me to make a career out of my passion and to help women like me with fitness, build strength and confidence. Lovely. Sean, fitness has been a passion of mine for a long time, but I've never jumped into the coach and PT world as I didn't feel it really a viable career option fair. But due to circumstances, I feel now's the right time to make the leap. Okay, cool. I won't dig into that now, but thanks for sharing. Molly, I've been training since I was 15. I'm now 25, and I've been training people online and on the gym floor for free because it's what I love doing. But I never made it a career. I'm doing well in my job, chemistry lab based, but I'm not satisfied. All I think about all day is training and helping others. So I finally realized it's what I want to do. I've had an online coach since November, and I'm stepping on stage to compete in bikini in November. Cool. Omar, left the corporate world in Dubai. Health and fitness is my passion now. I see it as a totally different change, but I'm up for the challenge. I want to be the one who can help people physically and mentally. Nice. Lovely. Uh, so who are we missing? George, have you sent one in?
Yeah, I think I sent it to the AI though, so I'll put it in there.
Right. Can you copy and paste it into the group chat? Sorry, mate. It's a bit of a pain that I know. There it is. Great. Get insight into the industry, learn more about the role, and start to build a better picture of what a career in coaching will look like. Cool. So, George, I imagine then from that you're sort of almost just like flirting with the idea, and this is to get a bit more clarity.
Yeah, yeah, essentially just build a better picture of what it would look like.
Fine.
Start to get a bit more insight. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Uh, Claire, I've not got yours. Did you send it to the AI? Just do this. If you can just do the same, sorry, just copy and paste and drop it into the meeting group chat. That'd be great.
I can't find how to copy and paste it. Sorry. Shall I
Um,
just tell you?
Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I work as a cardiac rehab nurse at the moment, and because services are quite poor in the NHS, I'm looking to do the course to complement my current role. So I didn't want to do another degree in sort of sports science or anything, but I wanted a course that was challenging, and that I could adapt for the clients or the specific clients that I want to target, which
Great.
will be cardiac patients.
Nice. Okay. And so you're thinking about doing the level 3 for that?
Yes.
That's what you're
Yeah.
thinking? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Lovely. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Just a sec. Let me come back to the share. There we go. So, into do you have what it takes? Now, really, only you know this, but I can give you a steer based on what we believe are almost like the foundational requirements of a coach. So these are the attributes. The coach must be attentive. So if you are somebody who's curious by nature, who is interested in people, in learning about them, in having the ability to listen more than you talk, which is difficult today, or less, I would probably say, yeah, let's just leave it at that. The key here, this is one of the things that's missing a lot in coaches today. One, because of the nature of coaching, a lot of people go straight online, and so there's nothing to be attentive to. It's really difficult to be attentive when there's not a person stood in front of you. But then also because coaching has become more of a transactional scenario where the coach just delivers something, delivers a program design, training plan, whatever it might be, and there's not actually any coaching that goes with it. So there's no curiosity, there's no attentiveness. If we're going to make a difference, if we're going to help people genuinely, then we need to get to know the individual that we're working with, and that's why we need to be attentive. We need to attend to the client. You need to be authentic. Again, we don't see a lot of that in the industry today. So everything's smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of manipulation. There's manipulated messages. There's manipulated truths. There's a lack of authenticity. There's hope here, though, because the authentic coach stands out like a sore thumb because they're real and people know it. And it's the one thing that you can't hide. You can't hide when you're bullshitting because humans, by their very nature, have a good sense around it. So being authentic, it attracts people. It attracts the right people. And the only way in which to develop a relationship with any of your clients or any other human being, to be honest, is to be real, right? Otherwise, you get found out over a period of time. So authenticity is massively important. In order to be authentic, you must be vulnerable. So just sharing your stories, there's an element of vulnerability. So straight away, we're off to a good start in the vulnerability stakes. We need to be vulnerable because there'll be many, many times when we're wrong, when we don't have the answer, but we're still there to help. And we need to be honest with that. So it's not for us to say at that point where we don't know the answer to things, to come up with some sort of bullshit, fill the gap with something because we think, goodness, I think I should know the answer to that. So if the clients ask me, I'm going to give them something, right? That's not authentic. You're not being vulnerable. Again, they'll sniff it. Rather, you say you're not expected. A good coach doesn't need to know everything. They just need to have the willingness, the will, and then some solid knowledge as to where to go and find it. And that might be somebody else. It might be speaking to a mentor figure. It might be speaking to a professional in that particular space. But the vulnerability to accept that as part of your role is key. Trustworthy. So all of that, attending to the client, being authentic, being vulnerable, it all comes into this trustworthy piece. Again, in order to build relationships with the client, which is the essence, it's the nucleus of coaching. Despite, again, what we see and what the industry suggests today, which is far from that, it's still the case. In order to get the best out of coaching, we need to be able to relate to the client. First things first, they need to trust us. They need to trust us. So trustworthy is key. We need to be empathetic. Now, there's a continuum here. where at some point it sort of veers into sympathy, and that's not ideal, where we become less useful. So empathy here for the coach is being able to see and sense the world through the client's shoes, but then remove yourself in order to be of use. And it's a skill that comes with time. We get it wrong often. We veer into sympathy because we care so much, but the client doesn't need sympathy. They need a constant. They need a guide. They don't need us to be in the mire with them. And so getting that empathy right is a skill that's acquired over time. But it starts with, again, the willingness to care in the first place. So if that's not there, if we don't care, then we're going to struggle being empathetic. We're going to struggle connecting with these people and finding the right challenges at every different level. All of this requires awareness. So that's not just awareness in the moment of them, but it's also awareness of ourselves and how we are and what we see and what we hear and how we perceive things. Because that's key in relating. And if we don't know ourselves, if we have poor self-awareness, our relationships, our ability to relate with others is also going to be poor. So the whole thing, there's a quote that we use in the PFCA is increase awareness to upgrade intentions. And what we mean by that is the more as we go on, the more that we're able to see, then the better choices we can make based on the information that we're willing to see, we're willing to look at. So awareness is key. Awareness is almost the catalyst for everything else that comes with it. So those are the attributes first and foremost. So you can all look at those and think, well, one, do I have a smidge of those? There are going to be ones that are probably stronger in you than others, of course, and some can be worked on. But do you look at any of those and think, no, that's not me, I don't have that? And if that's the case, then coaching is probably not for you. The gist of your messages, your short sort of stories as to why you're here, a lot of it is a passion of fitness, okay? And we say about turning a passion into a profession, which is a wonderful thing. But it's not easy. It's not easy. There is a requirement for talent, right? So that would be based on these things. So a lot of people think talent in coaching is in the more objective realm of prescribing the right exercise, being able to cue things. Of course, that's a skill that you learn, but you're able to learn that stuff. These things, these elements, they're more in your essence, right? They're more, I would say they're more a talent. That's why we say an attribute. So turning passion into a profession requires you to really sort of pull that talent out of you. And so then, let's come to the quiz. So if you can use your phones, just scan the QR code, open the quiz. It'll probably take 5 minutes just to fire through it. And then just give me a nod when you've finished. In fact, here's what we'll do. From a vulnerability point of view, give me your outcome. So if you can drop your outcome in the chat box, and then I'll know you're done. Has everybody scanned the code? Claire's just going to get a phone. Sorry. You link through to the quiz. Omar, all good? Great. Yeah, great. George, yeah? Sweet. Anne, all good? What, you struggling with, Anne? Just unmute. In fact, don't worry about speaking to me. Just try and get yourself sorted on there.
I can't, because I'm using my phone. I can't scan the code. 'Cause I'm used to watch this.
Okay, so I think if you just fire the are you on an iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just bring either bring it down or or take it up the Zoom app, and you'll be able to just open your home screen whilst this runs in the background, I think, and then just open your camera. Let me I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just drop the link in here. So I'll just drop the link in the chat there. So you click on that, and that should just take you off here, and then you should just be able to come back when you're done. Sean, all good? Top man.
Sorry, did you say you want us to write the answer in the group chat? The thing like the pop-up we got at the end of the test? You're muted, Craig, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Anne's gone with struggling with the tech to now being a tech wizard and firing in pitches in the chat box. Great, Sean. Claire, great. Happy days. Okay. So we're all good. And of course, that's not exhaustive, but it just gives you a bit of a flavor, and I'm going to expand on that now. So just a sec. We know the outcome, so some considerations. I know it asks in there about your passion for fitness and sort of what you enjoy and what have you. But from a coaching point of view, again, there are many individuals that come into this industry, and I'm not saying this is you, with the expectation that it's going to give them more time to train because they're passionate about training, right? Which is fine, but that's not coaching. And the reality of coaching is that despite the fact that you're in the gym more, to start off with, you'll probably have less time to train than ever. Because your time in the gym will be spent with people. And when you're not with people, you'll be tired. Because it's tough. It's tough to you folks who are already working with people, you'll know, right? It's draining whilst it's massively fulfilling. It takes it out of you because you're giving all of yourself. You're listening, you're attending. And so when you get that spare time, you've not always got what it takes to train. And so sometimes you have to manage that stuff. So I'm just painting the picture. Of course you can train in and around coaching. And I encourage you to do so. But it's not all about training. So those who come into the industry expecting it to be so are often met with a stark reality. Okay, so we're coached first and we become athletic, we train second. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Over time, as you become more experienced and more efficient, you will get time back. And then you'll do with that what you will. But you definitely probably won't have time to be training for 2 and 3 hours a day or whatever, whatever the expectation might be. There is a huge responsibility because the potential that we have to guide people to literally a different way of living that changes their path of life, like changes the outcome for them. Coaching has that potential. And so then we need to be responsible with that. We need to have great responsibility. I think Winston Churchill said it first. With great power comes great responsibility. And then I think Spider-Man made it more famous. But it's true. And that comes back to those attributes of the coach, where we need to be trustworthy. We need to be authentic. We need to be vulnerable. What we see today, again, I know I keep harping on about it, but it's just the reality. And I use it as a reference point as where we don't want to go as coaches, because it's not coaching. People use this thing for power. They use it for their ego. They get into chat around, I did this for my client, right? Because of me, this happened. And it's just not the case. That's our job. That's our role. It's not for us to be applauded for that. We're just doing our job. Our job is to guide the client. Our job is to lead. And as we know, great leaders stay in the background and they promote those doing the task. So it's all about the client, client-centric. That's a big piece of what we push in the PFCA. And that's what one of our quotes, learn more about you to make it all about them. So I'm getting the gist that this is nobody on this call. But if folk are coming into this realm with the ego play, like, oh, it's going to be great, I'm going to have a real sense of power over these people. It's just not the thing. Rather, we're giving power to. We're empowering our clients. With that in mind, our mindset, our coaching mindset, as we call it, is a white belt mentality all the time, forever. I put a post on recently that the older you get, the less you know. And it's true. It's true. The more it's just as our awareness grows, you realize that you know less and less. And it's the same in coaching. And that is the wonderful thing about coaching. Your learning is never complete. And that's how we encourage the PFCA coach to think, that there's always opportunity to grow and refine and get better. And so then the opposite would be thinking you get to a point and you've got it all figured out and then you just go after the cash. That'll do. That'll do for coaching craft. That'll do for a level of coaching. Now I just need to scale this thing. It's the wrong way to think. Of course, business is important. Of course, you need to have money coming in. You need to put food on your table and keep a roof over yours and your family's heads. Of course you do. But generally speaking, you do that by becoming a bloody good coach first. And to be a bloody good coach, you need to have that open-minded growth mindset. So white belt mentality. The opportunity. So this comes with really the open-mindedness and then the responsibility. The contribution that we can make in this role as a coach is huge, And when you enter this industry, it's easy to feel so small, so tiny, because there are so many people doing it. There's so much noise. There are so many people speaking really loudly about certain things that make you think, geez, should I know that? Am I that bad? Am I, and you start comparing yourself, etc., etc. And so then you wonder what sort of difference you're making with the 20 clients that you're working with. The reality. You're educating, you're teaching, you're guiding those clients of yours to a better way of life. They start living that. They change their lifestyle to suit because you've helped them do that. You've changed their identity, right? They've become a different person, a person that does this thing rather than this thing. That's the choice they make. And you've guided them to get there. We know we've probably all been inspired by people like this around us. That when you come across somebody that's got their shit together, that things are going well for them, that they're positive, you're drawn to that and you look on and you're inspired. And so your clients will inspire those around them, first their family, then their friends, etc., etc. And so we call that waves and ripples. The wave that we make is with our clients immediately around us. But then the ripple effect is the same outward from them. And so it's not just the 20 clients that we're working with at one time. It's everybody that they're surrounded by. And so the impact of what we're teaching, because that's what this thing is, this is education centric. We must be teaching them something. Otherwise, what's the point, right? If we're not leaving them with something that's changed in their mind, then what's the point? The contribution is huge. It's often surprising to folk when they come into the industry when I say that over the course of your career, you'll help around about 100 to 200 people really change their lives. And people go, is that all? But if you think about it, say you're going to be in this career for, I don't know, depending on ages, a couple of decades or a few decades, whatever it is. We would aim as the PFCA coach to have a client with us and be able to guide them through health and fitness for 3 to 5 years, right? To get to the point where they don't need a coach anymore. So then when we start to think about, okay, we've got 20 clients and they're all going to be around for 3 to 5 years, we don't actually get through that many clients in our career. Now, of course, as you grow and develop and opportunities present themselves, and maybe you open a gym and you have hundreds of members and the whole, who knows where this goes. I'm talking about coaching one-to-one, because that's where the real difference is going to be made. Okay. So the opportunity for contribution here is massive, despite what you look at the numbers being relatively low. If we're all doing a good job and we can, as we say, together, we can create a bit of a North Star for what coaching should be. And so we create this collective of coaches who are all have the same belief and values in this thing, but doing it in their own way, all looking after their 100 clients in their lifetime. We can make a real shift. So the contribution between us is huge. From that, just a quick stop on career opportunities. So how can this work for you in reality? There's the mobile coach. So this is the coach that goes to people. So they'll drive to clients' houses, maybe to parks and do some outdoor training, but they don't have a set space. They'll probably have some equipment that they'll have in the back of their car or a small van, and they'll drive around and deliver their fitness in a mobile fashion. Benefits there, no overheads other than the capital expenditure of the kit that you want to buy, and then the running costs of the vehicle, etc., etc. Which means then that all the income that you make is, pretty much direct to you. Good stuff. Cons of that, time between clients. So it's not, you can't go back to back. You have to factor in travel time, etc., etc. Not having a base, it can be challenging for somebody that likes order. So if you're particularly orderly by nature, you like going to a place of work and doing your job, that might become challenging for you and a little bit too chaotic. But a legit way to get started, if that's what floats your boat. Self-employed, so you might be mobile and self-employed. You might be mobile and work for somebody. But self-employed would be having your own business, whether that be a sole trader or whether you set up as a limited business. That's up to you. But this is you and your gig. So your clients are your own. You would pay, probably, well, if you're mobile, you wouldn't. But if you were working in a gym, the self-employed coach would pay rent to a gym, and then the rest is their money. So that's the self-employed coach. It's up to you to manage your outgoings, so your rental, etc., your insurances. It's also up to you to find your clients. The benefit, though, is that beyond your rent, all that client cash comes to you. Employed, so the other side, you would work within a business or a system, so you would become a member of staff. Probably less money, first and foremost. Opportunities for growth or growth of salary, who knows, depending on who you work for. But the big pro here is risk. So less risk. So you probably got a definite income per month. You've also probably got, for in this position, they manage the onboarding and income or input of clients. So they give you clients, whether that's in a group facility or whether it's one-to-one. So you do less work on that front. You do more coaching and don't have to think about the other stuff, but probably for less money. But employed is a solid route if you're less risk averse. If you need a set amount of money per month, depending on your current scenario, then trying to find an employed position would benefit you. Just as a note here for the employed piece, through the PFCA, we also have an arm of the business called the Gym Owners Network. So we look after around just over 100 gyms, mainly in the UK, but also internationally. And so we have a great network of gyms up and down the country who employ their coaches. So if you were looking to be employed, we can almost like help you find people, or at least put you in touch with people in your area. Hybrid would be self-employed, and this is becoming more popular now with the increase in tech, where your service is you offer in-person PT, one-to-one coaching, but then you also give that client some work to do outside on their own through an online app. So they might train with you twice a week. And in those sessions, you might do the things that you want to concentrate most on with that client, but then you also give them 2 more sessions throughout the week that they go and do, maybe in your gym or maybe at another gym, or maybe they do it at home, depending on what they need. That would be the hybrid. So it's a hybrid between in-person and online, okay? Quite popular today as a service. It works really nicely, actually. The challenge, of course, for the new coach is managing how you coach that online piece, which is challenging. But we can help you with that. We can talk you through that. Fully online. So again, as we know, there's a lot of chat in the industry. So most of the chat is that coaching on the gym floor is dead. Online's where you make the money. Online's where you scale the thing. It's a lie. Online is definitely where you can scale income, but it's not how you can become a better coach. Because think about this. You go straight online with no in-person experience. How on earth do you learn how to coach? You can't. You can't. You need, at some point, you need that in-person experience. You need to see the thing. You need to feel it. You need to sense body language. You need to learn to see movement, to be able to correct it in the moment, etc., etc. You can only do that through in-person experience. Which means that then you can go online at some point in your career. Maybe it's hybrid to start with and do a bloody good job. The other way around, imagine trying to see and correct movement through a grainy video of a shitty angle that your client sent you. And they've sent you one video of 4 that you've asked for on that particular day. You can't coach that individual, and nor do you know how to relate to them in order to help them send the stuff that they need to, right? So our firm belief in this thing is that everybody in some way, shape, or form should start with in-person experience. So online is legit, but we believe that it should be earned over time so that, and we say this for you, so that you can make a success of it. The reason why more people than ever are not making it to the end of year 1 today is because of this piece. People are going straight online and they're getting chewed up and spat out because everybody's gone online. Gym owner. So at some point, you may wish to make this thing bigger than you. You may wish to be the person that employs other coaches, gives other people opportunities. Increase your contribution if you like. This is not a definite requirement. So don't think that it is. Because many people do think that it is. Like, that's just the career progression. I need to own a gym at some point. You don't need to. In fact, I'd go as far as to say, most coaches that I know that have stood the test of time have not been a gym owner because they've been able to focus on their craft. Don't get me wrong. There are many gym owners who've stuck around the test of time as well. But the best coaches that I know haven't owned a gym. It's a great thing to do. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I got great experience. It shaped who I am as a coach today. I wouldn't discourage you from doing so, but I would encourage you to think about it a lot because there's a lot in it. It's bloody stressful. It's bloody hard work. It's not the lifestyle. It's not the lifestyle piece that people paint. Like, oh yeah, it's great, you know, make a load of money and drive around in a truck and get all this time to train. No. 14, 15-hour days, constant coaching of coaches. It's wonderful. Like, I had a great time doing it. You know, those days used to go by in a flash. Like, I was doing wonderful work all day, every day, but it's not easy and it's not for everybody. So those are the career opportunities. Any questions on those things? Cool. Our challenges as coaches, getting skin in the game. So in my mind, I picture today starting as coaches sort of trying to jump on a treadmill that's already going at 15 kilometers an hour. It's fucking hard. The game's flying, right? There's all this noise, everything's going on, and you just join the rat race. And so getting skin in the game is really difficult. Because everybody is bullshitting. Nobody is being open to the fact that they are brand new. So that's why this apprenticeship phase that we push as a key foundation for a career in fitness is gone today, because nobody will admit to the fact that they're only 2 years in, right? Everybody tells the world that they've got it all figured out, that they've been doing it for years. And so to be authentic as a coach is difficult. It takes massive vulnerability to go, I've just started. But you know who love that? Clients. Because again, they trust you from the off. They're not thinking, oh, this is just another dickhead PT who's going to, you know, give me some average training and then bin me off after 8 weeks. So I know this looks hard, like getting skin in the game looks hard, and that's why it is a challenge. But I think if you stay true to what you believe in this thing and you keep your mind on the long-term career, it's definitely possible. Managing expectations. So I think we've touched on this quite a lot. Expectations around wealth, around time to train, around, you know, this lifestyle of walking around in active wear and coffees and da-da-da-da-da. Like, sure, there are people that do that. Let's see where they are in 5 years. I would guess they're in a different career. The reality is the same as any other career. right? We have to start at the bottom, and we have to work hard. Same as everything, same as construction, same as law, same as accounting. We have to earn the right. And that's part of the thing. That's part of the great thing about coaching. And unfortunately, it's what everybody misses today. So manage your expectations to say that that's not going to come straight off the bat. But in getting there, you're going to really enjoy yourself. Imposter syndrome, again, relating to what I've just said. You can imagine why this is higher than normal, higher than ever now, because so many people are bullshitting. So many people are saying they've got it all figured out. So many people are saying they've got their answers. So many people are selling things that profess to create things for people, and and so you look on it and you go, fuck, I don't have those things. I don't know. And it's the right place to be. It's the right place to be. For me, the coach with imposter syndrome is the coach that cares, is the coach with the open-minded growth, the growth mindset. I still have imposter syndrome. I still deliver stuff. Before I come on this call, I'm like, have I got this all laid out? I've almost to the point, who am I to tell you, right? I then check myself and I go, no, I can help you because I've got my experience. So hopefully I can help. But I do consider it. Like, who am I in the industry to have this position? I do think about it. And so it won't go away. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's an ego check all the time. And I think it's good to question ourselves. It's good to keep challenging our thoughts, our systems, our principles, our philosophies, so that we know that they're right. Because if we don't, again, if we rest on our laurels, if we think we've got it all figured out, that's a dangerous place to be. As the saying goes, you're at your weakest when you reach an equal sign. So as a coach, try not to get there. So imposter syndrome, feel it, be uncomfortable in it, but almost give it a nod to say, I'm glad you're there. It means I care. And it means I want to be better. Business skills. Fuck, have I suffered this one. Now, if you love coaching, it's so easy to get sucked into just coaching, right? And you can probably understand that because it's fantastic and it can take all your energy and all your time. But we do need to take some time to work on the business as well as in the business. And again, like I said, I've suffered this no end, where I've been working with my clients and then I'll have a couple of clients drop off at the time when they're ready to, and then I've got no others coming in and I'm down a few quid, etc., etc. So learning business skills, learning all the stuff around it is critical. Again, same as coaching. You're not expected to have it all figured out right at the start, but it is a consideration and it is a challenge when you're focusing on refining your craft as a coach. And that's why we encourage the apprenticeship, right? The last thing you want to do as a brand new coach is end up online with a system that you've bought off a guru or a mentor, which gets you to the point where you're making 10 grand a month straight away with 100 clients. Like, good luck backfilling the business and coaching skills around that thing. Like, it ain't gonna happen. Rather, take your time, grow the thing carefully. You can make good money quickly. You can get to good money quickly, but then it's like sitting in and doing the do, alongside thinking about business along the way. Isolation. Again, it's why we try and create the community here at the PFCA. If you're getting your coaching experience in person, especially if you're online, you can go all day without speaking to anybody else other than your clients. And I know you might think, well, you're speaking to your clients all day, but you don't speak to any peers. You don't get to sense check your ideas. It can be isolating, right? Especially if you're self-employed in some way, shape, or form. So it is a challenge. There's no real fix to this other than creating time to reach out beyond your current circle. So that is a real piece. There are ways, like I say, there are ways around it, but it is difficult. It is difficult because it is your own business. Finding guidance today, again, is hard, and again, it's why we do what we do. It's not obvious. I was incredibly lucky to start coaching when I did. It was obvious who was doing well. Like, nobody put anything online when I started coaching unless you were at the top of your game. Everybody had respect to keep the mouth shut. And social media wasn't a thing. So it was more blogs and things. So we learned directly from great coaches. Today, everybody, if you ask them, has all figured it out. And so you can't see who's worth following and who's worth not, especially if you go off the amount of people that they have following them on Instagram. So guidance is a difficult one. And hopefully we plug that gap for you. Same with support. Same thing. That's another pro of being employed, having the guidance and support of a business around you. The key there is choosing the right business. Impatience, whether that's related to income, whether that's related to status, whether that's related to perceived success. It is a challenge today, because as you join that treadmill at 15 kilometers an hour, you'll see other people saying that they've got this, that, and the other, saying that they're doing this, saying that they're earning this amount of money. Why are you not? It's tempting. It's tempting to fast track. It's tempting to say, sod it. I know Mass said the first thing I need to do is go and accumulate 3,000 to 5,000 hours of coaching in person. That's going to set you up for a career in fitness. But none of these other people are doing that, and they're making bank. So I'm going to follow them. That will be a road to nowhere. Born from impatience. Now, I'm not saying I've got it all figured out and I'm right. It's just through what I've seen. It's just through what I was told, right? I'm standing on the shoulders of giants that have done this before me. I've seen it work. And I've also seen the opposite. I've seen the opposite not work. Imitation. This is a funny one. I almost encourage you to imitate to start with. And what I mean by that is, I encourage you to find somebody that inspires you, find somebody that you like the way they do things, like the way they coach, and you can relate to their style. You can relate to how they do the thing. And take that on. Almost embody that. Use that for yourself, because in doing so, that's going to give you great confidence. And then it's going to give you a bit of freedom to start to explore. So you start by imitating. It's the way we do things. It's the way we've developed. It's what we do as humans. It's the way children do things. They imitate those above and ahead of them. Same here. Imitate first, but the challenge is then not continuing to not continuing to copy. Okay. At some point, we want to break free. And that's why we encourage you to do the 3,000 to 5,000 hours as an apprenticeship, so that you can find your own style. You can find your own way of doing things. So that after that, and that's the point when we say you turn pro as your own coach with your own style, your own tone, your own way of communicating that relates to you, right? And then that ticks the box of being authentic. So you're not just somebody that's parroting what I've said, for instance, if you've learned from me at that point. You're Omar, right? You're Coach Omar. And whilst a lot of what you've built and the foundations of your career might be hugely influenced by, if you come through the PFCA, what I say, you've found your own way of saying it. Okay? Rather, there are so many people out there again today copycatting. They're taking what other people do and doing it themselves, but doing it louder and making cash off the back of it. And it's the wrong thing to do. So find your own style. Again, we've probably done this one. Clarity of vision. It's so hard. It's why you're here, right? There's something in you that would suggest that a career in fitness is the right thing to do for you. It's a passion of yours. You probably sense that you've got a talent for it within your essence. You care. You're able to relate to people. But your ability to be able to see a career from this point, it's almost impossible because there's so much chaos. So this is a definite challenge. And that's why, let me just jump to. That's why we have this, the career pathway. So this is us trying to create clarity of what a coaching career looks like. So we start with level 3, that's your ticket to get started. We say that you start blind and that's okay. And as soon as you get started, your awareness is opened. You also notice that bar across the top. The science piece, that's the knowledge. So we're giving you more things, more truths, more absolutes at the start, more tools to work with. Almost like, just trust us on this one. Go and do this like this and you'll be good. Okay. Do that for the first 6 months and then start to explore from there. Like, that's going to set you off well. Otherwise, you have all these possibilities of things that it could be. And whilst you're thinking about all those things, you have a lot of people shouting as you're on Instagram that this is the way to do this, and you should be thinking about this, and why you're not earning this. So the science then is that those more, I guess, fixed things that we give you, the tools to start with, they're high at the start, but then you can see how the blend with the art progresses over time. Now, that's not to say that those tools become less. It's just that the art becomes more. And when I talk about the art, I'm talking about how you use those tools. So if you think about the craftsperson, we know you look at somebody who's mastered their craft. They make the thing look easy. They master their tools. Their tools become an extension of them. Whereas at the start, if we've tried something new, maybe it's trying to use a potter's wheel, or we've tried a bit of woodwork or whatever. It's clunky. We make a mess. That's going to be the same in coaching. And that's why we try and give you some more fixed tools to work with. But still, it's not going to feel like an extension of you to start with. And that's work to do over time. So back to this point around clarity of vision, we try and give you that. We try and encourage you to follow that path, because we know that that's what a long-term career is built up off of, okay? Not the opposite. No respect, we've mentioned that. I don't think we need to go back over that. We can understand why we got no respect, because quality is poor, generally speaking. And so, unfortunately, we're all tarred with the same brush from the outside looking in. What is possible? So this is the goal. You have control. That's a big win. So this is the pro of the downside to the chaos in the industry. So the lack of governance means that you can do what the hell you want. So you are in control. That's a good thing. So whether you go mobile, whether you go hybrid, whether you do in person, whether you self-employed, whether you get employed, how you do it, right? You can make that call. So there's nobody in the fitness industry going, no. Claire, you can't operate like that. You can do what you want. And of course, we can see how that can be a massive pro and a con, but for the well-intentioned, it's a big pro. Mentioned it before in the open-mindedness. We have a lifetime of continual growth. Like, we never know it all. There's always something to learn. I can vouch for that. Been doing this thing for a long time now. Still learning so much. Mentioned it with the contribution. You will truly help people. It's fantastic. It's the best thing in the world to watch people figure this thing out. And I choose my words carefully there, because that's our role. Our role is the window seat. We guide and then we sit and watch the people do the do. It's their thing. It's their gig. But it's gold. It's an incredible thing. Been through the pathway. So, to close it all off, I try my best to be real and paint a dark picture, because I think that that's what you deserve. What I mean by that, you don't need unicorns and rainbows. You don't need me to tell you that it's easy. You don't need me to tell you that you're going to make 10 grand in your first 6 months, 10 grand a month in your first 6 months. You need me to be real. And so I hope that's what I've been tonight. I hope that it's been useful with that in mind. I hope, though, that I've done enough not to scare you off it, but at least to make you think, right? To the point where you go, I hear all that stuff, but I still think this is for me. And I think if you can do that, if you're at that point where you hear all the dark side, because the dark side really is what everybody else is doing, not you, then this is probably the right thing to do. And we would love to help you.